So what more is there to say about this series except for Ultra just got tucked back to sleep. They woke up and got sent back to bed is basically what happened in this series. This series was not even close. I predicted FaZe would win, but I was fine with whoever won. But man, this was just, after I saw the map one, I'm like, okay, I have a feeling how this year's gonna go. And a lot of people, this goes for everybody, the people on the flank, literally everyone, all the analysts, they saw how good Toronto Ultra was doing. I'm actually gonna pull it up actually. All right, so here's what I want to bring up. So even for the casual viewer to see this, you would automatically assume Ultra is just a better team and that they're going to win. But there's so many things so everyone was saying how great of a team Ultra was, but I just knew in the back of my head, even though I saw how good they're doing, I just knew all the teams that they're playing, they are better than 8 out of 12 teams in the league. They are better than 8 other teams in the league, but there's 3 teams. They haven't faced NYSL yet, so I can't even make that assumption if NYSL is actually in there. But when they're playing the top teams, we saw it in the online qualifier even, against Optic, they won the first map, I believe, and then they got smoked the rest. When they're playing the top teams, so we know where they're at right now. There's just another hump that they have to get over. I'm very confident in them playing any other team that's not a top team like FaZe or Optic, because even if those teams play bad, like, there's just something about the matchup when they face Ultra. Like, Ultra just can't shoot back against these fucking players. Like, they can't shoot back against, like, the top players. And it's a big reality check also for Scrappy. Scrappy's been frying in all these games, looking like an absolute star, bro. Literally looking like the star of the show. But we see him look like a mere mortal when he goes up against FaZe and Optic. When he's going against, like, these top SMGs, fucking Cell, Slasher, fucking Dashy, Shotzi, all those players, like, he's a mortal man against, like, the top players. And it's a very good learning experience for him. It's something to get used to get shit on right now and, like, regain and, like, get used to it. And you build that fucking toughness, you build that mental toughness, and you come back on LAN and try again. And someone made a good point. I forgot who it was. It was someone on the desk, I believe, said, like, Atlanta FaZe already has, like, the reps of, like, getting shit on or doing bad and being able to come back in an hour and, like regain and play well. Like, they have the mental fortitude. They face the top teams. Like, they know the pressure. Like, they play against anyone. They're not scared of anyone. They never go into a game scared of anyone. They played against the top people. Like, this Ultra roster, excluding maybe Kleenex, even though I don't think he had that great of a series either, like, these guys just aren't ready for that next step yet. But it's something they just got to work on, keep scrimming, keep doing their thing, go back to the lab. They could come back and maybe do it in the future. But I knew, even though this team is, like, my second favorite team, I knew that, you know, there's just an extra hump. There's just an extra hump that, like, they just can't get over yet. And we saw it in this game. FaZe got off to a staggering lead, but then FaZe started trolling. I'm going to get to the point where they trolled and regained. So I said this in my live reaction, which I didn't post because I just posted the SMD and not the hard point. When you have this big a lead, when you have an 120-point lead, so it's actually on this hill where, like, they start trolling. When you have this big of a lead, you can afford to chalk up time, chalk up the whole entire hill, actually. Just do one push, die, move on to the next, and just set up for the next and get your lead back. But what FaZe does, they push twice and they lose rotation to P6. Don't know why. They just kept pushing P5 over and over again. Like, at this point, I would just chalk it. I would just have a guy, number 6, fucking Abizi, or Cell, Slasher, someone. Actually, can't be Slasher because he's up top. But just have someone just chill at P6. There's no reason. You have, look how much points you are. You're literally up 100. You do not need to push this twice for some 20-second scrap time. Absolutely absurd. Absolutely absurd. And number 3 spawns on the next hill because of, like, the trades and because of FaZe all the way being down there. So he's so he's gonna spot him away. Like, you don't need to push that more than once. You push it once, and that's it, and you leave it. And if FaZe was just set up on this, they could have built their lead again. Ultra goes up to 80, and then FaZe gets 200, and it's 200 to 80. You don't need to give up 2 back-to-back kills when you have an 120-point lead. That's the luxury of being up early, is you could just chalk stuff up and just move on to the next. But if the game's close, you have to keep pushing stuff. But they had the luxury to do it, but they just trolled super hard. And Ultra was slowly coming back. I was almost like, uh-oh. And Ultra even broke him on this hill and had control of this hill. And at this point, I was worried. I was like, no way, FaZe is trolling once again. They're trolling. But FaZe was able to break this and get the last 20 seconds. And then, thank God, the next hill was like the middle hill. Because that's like the mixy hill where like they can't really chain it on you because it's literally in the middle of the map. There's so many angles to watch. So FaZe was able to do good on this. And you see number 8 just holding the back the whole time, because they know up next after P1 is P2, which is back where P6 was. I actually don't get the point of that, having one hill like they have P2 downstairs and P6 upstairs. That's so weird. In the exact same house. But Celium playing it super smart, staying in the back alley. His teammate spawns back there even when number 2's back there. That was pretty weird to me. But doing what he had to do to hold rotation for the next. And they were able to chain this and just win it off of this one. And classic from FaZe. The LSC low S&D was actually not even close. I uploaded that one if you want to watch just me watching Ultra get slaughtered in full. It was like a 10-minute map, pretty straightforward map, absolutely dominated them. Like, this was not even close at all. There's not really much I could say. Like, after map 2, when we go into map number 3, Ultra just looked like a sloppy wet burger that was just falling apart, that had way too much topping on it. Like, they were just getting, like, I don't even know the word. Like, I can't even say Kentucky Fried. It's even worse than that. Like, it was an absolute abomination. Like, I'm actually going to put up something on the screen that could actually, like, describe what this series was. Like, some X-rated content. Like, no protection. As raw gets. Like, that's what this series was. It was absolutely abysmal. And even, like, Ultra's just trolling super hard. And they carried this on into their next match against Thieves, but not really much even break down the control. FaZe just outslayed them. And you could clearly see here one team just being way better than the other. This was men against boys. This was just, like, even when Ultra had, like, a setup or whatever, FaZe just showing no respect. Chow. Wipe. Piecing. Right here, Insight. He actually had a chance to stop this point. They probably could have won this round, actually, not gonna lie. So he gets the first one, he gets the second one. At this point, after he gets Simp, fly on the hill right there. Actually, I mean, like, he already does, but I guess the timer just doesn't go. Anyways, never mind, awkward. But yeah, just absolutely slaughtered them. Like, very rarely do you see Scrap go negative, but notice when he plays against the top teams, Optic, FaZe, he always goes negative. Keep that in mind. I have no idea how they're going to play against NYSL. Like, that's the last tick I need to, like, actually, like, confirm my statement. But NYSL, just because they won Major 1 doesn't mean they're a top team in the game. But, I mean, they've been playing very well. So, yeah, when that matchup comes, like, we'll see. Like, that one's going to be very interesting. That's the one I really want to look my out for. But this was just an obliteration to the point where Simp didn't have to play good. He could just kick his fucking feet up. And fucking FaZe just outslaying. Every time Ultra try to get on the point, just gets pieced. Like, and they have a streak in their back pocket because they've been pissing on them the whole game. Like, literally, more than one person on the team has a streak. Just, like, not really much technical gameplay to break down here when teams are literally just getting gunned. Like, literally playing pubs on LAN. Must have been a nice warm-up scrim for FaZe. A nice televised warm-up scrim for FaZe. Yeah, just not even close. Super embarrassing out of Ultra. I'm not sure what happened, but yeah, that is the final score of that one. We're gonna go into like the final stats for this one right here. So as you can see, everyone 0.6, 0.82, 0.70, 0.71, just everyone getting fried. Not even that much of a difference in damage, but it was more about like what they were doing, and everyone just doing their thing on FaZe, and just, yeah, pretty uneven series. And I already predicted it. People were saying Ultra were gonna win. I was actually kind of mind blown, because like, if I've already said before, these online qualifiers are not a good gauge of teams' matches up. We're seeing it with LA Thieves right now. These online qualifiers don't really mean much. Like, you need to get to LAN and see, and that's what we even saw Major 1. We got to LAN and we saw NYSL do their thing as well. So that is that series.